Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alexis and today I'm going to be sharing my romance review for the Whitmorelands series by Valerie Bowman. I decided to do this prior to sharing my January 2024 wrap-up because I ended up continuing and completing this series, and I thought this would be way more thorough as opposed to giving a full-length video talking about every single book in a wrap-up, only to have a separate video dedicated to just the series. And why not lead with a better note? So with that being said, let's get into it. Book one is The Duke Deal. This is a historical romance. It's a holiday romance. There's an aspect of marriage in trouble and estrangement for about 2 years. There's a family dynamic that I really enjoyed throughout the series, but of course it starts with the first one. And this story follows Veronica and Sebastian, and Veronica's grandfather makes a dying wish to have his family together for his last Christmas, or what is assumed to be his last Christmas. So Veronica kind of sucks it up and goes to see her estranged husband of 2 years, Sebastian. They had a fallout years prior due to feelings of betrayal and being lied to. Veronica is trying to convince Sebastian to come back with her in order to, fulfill the wish of her grandfather. So, of course, Sebastian makes some conditions and he does essentially agree. But, it takes a while for them to come back to each other. And although they've always been attracted to each other, they still have to move forward from past hurts and trauma. I would say this is a very hot and spicy start to a series. It was more than I had expected for this book, and it's considered a novella, I believe. I enjoyed the back and forth between past and present time and being able to reminisce and see how they even got together and what their brief enjoyment of marriage was like, as well as the falling out. I am a little bothered by the events that led to Veronica finally forgiving Sebastian and vice versa. The ending did have some lighthearted plotting by the siblings of Veronica. So Veronica is the second eldest and her brother is the eldest and the only heir for their line. So his book is the second one. And then the third and fourth book follow the twin sisters. Book two is the Marquess Move. This follows Justin and Madeline. Madeline is a woman who had fallen from grace due to financial reasons of her family and has to take up employment as a lady's maid. And in doing so, she finds herself breaking the rules and putting on a disguise in order to attend a ball by her host family. Justin is someone who attends said ball, and he can't help but be drawn to her when they run into each other privately. They have an immediate connection, but they don't really initiate anything that night long term. But a year later, he finds himself still looking for her in every crowd, and she decides to take up the disguise again, only for there to be unfortunate circumstances that lead to her being fired. And Justin confides in his siblings in order to, hopefully help him. But then Madeline gets hired to be his sister's lady's maid, and things ensue from there. So this again is a boss employee romance. This, of course, historical romance, aspects of Cinderella in here, so very much fairy tale vibes going on. I really enjoyed this because of the class difference and the respect that was given. I would even say that this can be heavily compared to An Offer from a Gentleman by Julia Quinn, only it was done better here. Just really enjoyed their connection in this. I did want Justin to realize his feelings before learning the truth of her background, which, again, you have to read the book in order to fully grasp it. But overall, I give this 4 out of 5 stars. And I would say I enjoyed this more than Veronica and Sebastian's story. Book 3 is the Debutante Dilemma, and this follows Jessica and Aiden. Jessica is one of the younger siblings of Veronica and Justin. She also has a twin, Elizabeth, whose book follows after this. But she finds herself being the belle of the season, and she basically had her eyes on the uncatchable Duke, and that was Aiden. So she tries to get herself introduced to him properly, but Aiden turns out to be very rude to her, and she sticks up for herself in an unconventional way that leads to Aiden wanting to earn her forgiveness. But the way he goes about it is very underhanded, so she continues to put him off, and before he realizes it, he's genuinely sorry for things he had done and had said to her. They start to have a real friendship, and things go from there. He finds himself more jealous of her being courted by other people. She wants to be reassured by him. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one as well. It was my first 5 star of the series, and it is an age gap of 10 years. It's dislike to friends to lover situation. There's courting. There are exchanges of insults before forgiveness. And I just really enjoyed the banter in here between this couple. Aside from their first introduction, the constant or regular visits of Aiden to her home, or taking her out to go on carriage rides and enjoy a picnic, being able to get her flowers, and her reaction to said flowers was really humorous to me and a unique take on something that's supposed to be so chivalrous. So yeah, I definitely gave this 5 stars, and it was my first 5 stars of the year. I still stand by it. I still think about some of the scenes that happened in there, and how things played out between Aiden and Jessica. So yeah, the Wallflower Wins follows Elizabeth and Christopher's story. So again, Elizabeth is twin sister of Jessica from the previous book, and in this case, Christopher is a close friend to Aiden in the previous book. So, as you may assume, this is also an age gap of nearly 10 years, but not quite the same. There's an aspect of fake dating in here, the idea of her not wanting to commit in that way, and him only obliging because, there's really no prospect that he's looking forward to in terms of married life. So they pretend to be courting each other, or him courting her, and so forth. I really appreciated their meeting because, like every other book in the series or sequel in the series, it picks up right where the previous book left off. And in this case, it was Elizabeth trying to seek privacy and refuge in a library where she could just enjoy her own free time. And then Christopher also does the same, but they do not know that each other is in the same space. So when Christopher finds himself playing chess with another gentleman, Elizabeth overhears him talking ish about her. So she decides to reveal herself and, play against him. Of course, other people start to hear about it, and when she finally wins, the deal is struck. So Christopher, already knowing what bargain he had made, he proceeds to pretend to court her, and they, of course, start to develop feelings, even though it wasn't supposed to be real. And she pushes him away. He tries to convince her. There's the matter of seduction. There's a lot of play in here and experimentation as well for someone who is, well, knowledgeable, but not in all the ways that he is knowledgeable, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it was an unexpectedly spicy way to end this series. Elizabeth was very much a wallflower compared to her siblings, and the fact that she knew so much just from reading, and the little bit of experience she decided to pursue with Christopher, which led to more experiences. It was just very entertaining to read. And this closed out the series for me with 5 out of 5 stars. I would say the entire series is worth reading and they're very quick. I was able to crunch through the audiobooks on Hoopla. And yeah, I could definitely see myself revisiting the series as well as continue to look into Valerie Bowman's other books in her backlist. I am not aware of any upcoming releases, but I'm not opposed to being on the lookout for other books. So that's a wrap on my thoughts for the series. Let me know in the comments down below if you've ever tried out this author, or if you have other books you may be interested in by this author. I'd really appreciate it. Or even if you have other suggestions or recommendations with similar vibes to this series. Again, I really enjoyed the siblings, being able to follow that. Again, very much like the Bridgerton series in that aspect. Each book following a different couple, but still managing to bring about the life of the family dynamic and make appearances for other characters. So, yeah, with that being said, my name's Alexis, and until next time, take care and happy reading.